नमस्ते, आप सभी का स्वागत है। यू आर ऑल वेलकम टू दी 101st एपिसोड ऑफ द AMA और यह इस वर्ष का अंतिम एपिसोड भी है। दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द लास्ट एपिसोड ऑफ 2022. Well, yes, absolutely, because this is going to be the last Sunday of 2022 also. Today is 25th and the next Sunday will be on the 1st of January. So here we are, once again reminding you how to ask questions. कैसे सवाल पूछे जाने हैं वो आप व्हाट्सएप से पूछ सकते हैं और आप सुपर चैट से पूछ सकते हैं। दोनों माध्यम हैं आपके पास। आइए प्रश्न आरंभ करते हैं। लेट्स स्टार्ट। पहला प्रश्न है हार्दिक ठक्कर का। हार्दिक ठक्कर जी क्या पूछ रहे हैं? सर, व्हाट इज द लेटेस्ट update on CPEC? Has any of it left after floods or all washed away? क्या चाइना और पाकिस्तान का एक दूसरे से मोह भंग हो गया है? देखिए, CPEC लेफ्ट आफ्टर फ्लड्स का मतलब आप CPEC के सिर्फ एक प्रोजेक्ट की बात कर रहे हैं संभवतः। You are probably talking of only the roads that were supposed to be built under CPEC, but the roads were only a small part of CPEC. The major part of CPEC were the power projects, and all those power projects are now commissioned, and the government of Pakistan is committed to fund those projects and to buy a guaranteed amount of electricity at 18 Pakistan rupees per unit. I don't know whether there was any revision clause at that point of time, but they have to buy very, very exorbitant amount of electricity at a very exorbitant price. So those power projects are really milking them dry, and now once again they've started defaulting, so the power projects are also in the doldrums. As far as the roads were concerned, yes, the roads have been heavily damaged in the Balochistan area, and negotiations are on right now how to rebuild them, because Chinese do not do anything free. Chinese not only charge you for what they do, they charge you with a very heavy interest rate. Those are the commercial interest rates. They do not charge you concessional interest rate or the international loan interest rates, which are in the region of 1 to 1.5%. Instead, they charge 4.5 to 5%. And that's why anybody who takes money from China actually gets into a debt trap. That is the secret of CPEC. Next. मुकुल के, कैसे हो सर आप? मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ मुकुल जी, ऐसी कोई समस्या की बात नहीं है। क्योंकि मैं एक नए स्थान पर आया हूँ, तो जो नॉर्मल आपका वेदर इत्यादि बदलता है, उसके कारण थोड़ी बहुत खांसी जुकाम हो जाता है। इसके अतिरिक्त और कुछ विशेष बात नहीं है। अभिजीत कुलकर्णी, sir, why you are in Australia? Any problem? No, there is no problem. I'm here on a family visit. Next. Rishabh, does Elon Musk qualify to be called Ansh Avatar? He is the wealthiest, the smartest chief engineer of SpaceX, the most famous, handsome, I think so, physically strong, no idea, and ready to renounce Twitter purchase. Well, all that is fine, but my definition of avatar is slightly different. An avatar is one who has discovered himself and who is ready to actually become one with the Brahma, but still chooses to stay on to bring other people up to his level as well. That is what an avatar is, and I am not sure whether Elon Musk has actually discovered his real self. So, on that, the decision has to actually deferred. Next, Sneeges. US is committed to saving Pakistan from Taliban. How do you see that? Well, that's a very, very good and funny joke because US could not save itself from Pakistan and Taliban. So I think they must be paying it back to Pakistan and telling them that, well, you could not save us from Taliban. So now we will save you from Taliban. Pakistan also must be wondering how. Next, Khemendra. Can becoming a Hindu ideological IS possible in this Urdu wood time? What are the major challenges? Uh, I don't think there's any problem as such. As long as you do not bring ideology into your functioning or start discriminating on the basis of that ideology, you are absolutely free to keep any ideology you want and even discuss it. I mean, I haven't faced any problem. Why should anyone else face? Next, truly right. Put your opinion on government stand on Ram Setu. Why Abhijit Iyer not coming on your show? Well, Abhijit Iyer had undergone a procedure and he was off for about 3 weeks or so. He's only now started coming to some other channels, and now I have asked him as well. So no other problem. The people are off due to medical reasons. Certainly, you should not expect them to come to channels. The stand on Ram Setu. The Ram Setu stand, if I look at it in a very technical way, so technically what they've said is correct. And because it is a reply to a parliament question, they necessarily have to be technical. They have to give out the research that has been done and the conclusion of the research. They cannot go and say that, okay, as far as the point of faith is concerned, that also has been mentioned. But it is certainly, if you expect them to say categorically that it is so, well, I don't think they would be in a position to say so scientifically. Definitely, they say that, okay, more scientific research is on, and they may be able to commit themselves after some time. And they've certainly not said what the Telegraph says. The Telegraph says that they denied the existence of Ram Setu. Telegraph is bullshitting. Telegraph is not telling the truth. Next, any hope in sight to remove conversion? Bollywood children. Every hope is in sight to remove conversion. Number of states have started moving in that direction, and these are baby steps. Let's hope that they get consolidated in future. Aki Gaming, will there be any terrorist attack in India? I mean, that's a very, very speculative question. I don't know how to answer that. How can you say whether they will be or they will not be? That's, well, I should say that that's a very, very difficult question to ask, and it's impossible to answer. Next. प्रदीप कुमार श्रीवास्तव लखनऊ महोदय, भारत के विमानों से वीटी चिन्ह हटाने में क्या दिक्कतें हैं? कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, विल पावर चाहिए। वो विल पावर मुझे लगता है कि समन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं भाई लोग। और वैसे भी हमारी जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी है, यानी जिसका मैं पार्ट रहा हूँ 35 वर्ष लगभग, उसमें जो है वो बहुत ही अधिक फैसिनेशन रहता है किसी भी वेस्टर्न चीज़ के लिए। और ये जो कूट-कूट के भरा गया है हमारे दिमाग में, हमारे मस्तिष्क में, कि भाई हम तो केवल अंग्रेज़ों के रहमो करम की वजह से भारत बने हैं, वो इनमें बहुत अधिक विद्यमान है। तो इसलिए वो वीटी जो है वो इनको एक तरह का एक नॉस्टैल्जिया होता है वीटी देख के, आहाहाहा! हम वाइसरॉय जो थे, वाइसरॉय जैसा महान व्यक्ति हमको रूल करता था, इसको कैसे हटा दें? इसके अतिरिक्त और कुछ भी नहीं है। और मुझे लगता है कि इस पर ध्यान नहीं गया हमारे बड़े राजनेताओं का। नहीं तो वो बड़े राजनेता स्वयं भी इसको आदेश दे के इसको हटवाने में, क्योंकि इसमें करना क्या होता है, जो इंटरनेशनल एविएशन अथॉरिटी है, जो इंटरनेशनल एविएशन यूनियन है, उसमें ही एक अप्लाई करके और इसको चेंज करवाना होता है। वाइसरॉय टेरिटरी की जगह इंडियन टेरिटरी कर दीजिए, इसमें कहाँ समस्या है। अभिनव कौशिक जी कह रहे हैं, अगला प्रश्न है अभिनव कौशिक जी का। और अभिनव कौशिक जी कह रहे हैं कि सर, देवकी नंदन ठाकुर once said in his interview that intercaste married couples can't worship their pitra or ancestor. Is it true? His opinion. That is entirely his opinion. And the beauty of Sanatana is that you may have 100 different opinions, but then still there are four highest common factors which keep all of you united. Next. Subodh Khanna. Best YouTube show by Sri Sanjay Dixit, and does not hate criticizing Modi when he thinks that are going the wrong way. This is constructive criticism. Thank you, Subodhi. We attempt constructive criticism only. We find that there are a lot of people who are compulsive critics, and they seem to criticize everything, sometimes to the extent of how Modi is talking and how Modi is smiling and how Modi is moving. Even to that extent, that their criticism even goes to that extent. And these are so called Tathagatit, the right wing people as well. We try to keep it constructive, and we take it up issue by issue and completely issue based. Next. Abhinav Kaushik, sir, your knowledge about Constitution, IPC, CRPC, and CPC is immense. How are you able to remember so many sections very easily? Well, Abhinavji, apart from my own interest, when you are working in the government, and that too for 35 years, these are the things that you come across almost on a daily basis. So, remembering sections of particularly CRPC and IPC is supposed to be part of your job. And when you go into a higher policy level, at that time, the constitution also becomes very, very important. In any case, you have to study the constitution when you are getting trained as part of your training. So, CPC, of course, is not directly applicable. But then CPC is because I have my own background in law. I did my law graduation also. So I also have interest in CPC. Next. US coming in support of Pak against Taliban, does it bother India? Why should it bother India? US could not save itself from Taliban. How will it help Pakistan? The only thing is that Pakistan may be able to get a few weapons from them, but then the weaponry that Americans left behind in the hands of Taliban will overwhelm any kind of help that the Americans are going to render to Pakistan. And that's not going to be the money's worth. In any case, that commitment is based on purchase. So even if they do supply weaponry, it will be on the basis of a purchase, not on the basis of a grant. So that Pakistan doesn't have the wherewithal to do. Pakistan, in any case, is not in a position to fight a war, even with Taliban, for any extended time. As far as India is concerned, they are not in a position to fight India for anything more than 2 or 3 days. That's the condition of their ammunition and stockpiles and reserves. Next, Ayush Chamaria. Devand and Barelvi are both in India and both a core of Islamic terrorism. Is it possible that our government take action against them on grounds that they are threats to humanity? Well, they take care to cover their tracks. It is the Devandi teaching that promotes terrorism because uh, the Madarsa Haqqaniya that has produced most of the Taliban leaders actually teaches Devband curriculum. So technically, Devband can always say that they are not involved with the Madarsa Haqqaniya, which is actually producing terrorists. So they do have a fig leaf. But the point is, they particularly, Devband particularly, uh, it teaches and it fosters international Islamic domination, and that is international Islamic jihad. It also defines jihad, and that says that jihad is actually inviting people to Islam and fighting them if they decline the invitation. So, dawa followed by jihad. Rekha Rao. Will these audio leaks affect Imran's electoral prospects? Well, in the Islamic societies, the leaders, their foibles, especially their sexual peccadillos and their amorous activities, are taken to be embellishments. And it follows right from what we call the Sunnah. So that's not something that the Islamic societies, particularly Maulvis, Mullah Maulanas, they frown at. No, these are not very important things. The Marde Momin is supposed to indulge in, or there's nothing wrong in not in indulging in such activities. All the rules are for those who are not in that position to rule. For the ruler, there is no rule in Islam. Abhinav Kaushik, sir, is a Pitra Desh mentioned in a Sanatan Dharma, or is this just a wrong number? Pitra Dosh, okay, sorry, I read it, Pitra Desh. Is a Pitra Dosh mentioned? It is mentioned. Pitra Dosh is very much mentioned. And Pitra Dosh is also related to what you have, the five rinas, the five debts that you owe. And one of them is the Pitra Rina, what is called the Pitra Rina, the debt that you owe to your ancestors. And if you do not discharge your debt, then you get into trouble. Then that's where the Pitra Dosh comes in. Next. Veer Nathuram Gandhi. Why no one doing anything about World Economic Forum? What do you think? How can world be saved from their evil plan? The world has already been already been saved because globalization has failed. Globalization, unlike communism, did not even last 25 years. And with the failure of globalization, your World Economic Forum and the Davos meetings are slowly becoming only a footnote and just a fashion show. दीक्षित जी, ये बताओ, आप काशी मथुरा अयोध्या के बाद नेक्स्ट टारगेट क्या होगा? एनी क्लू सर? हाँ, भोजशाला है हमारे, और भोजशाला में जैन पिता पुत्र द्वय ने पहले ही पिटिशन डाल रखी है। भोजशाला के बाद फिर रुद्र महालय है, रुद्र महालय के बाद भद्रकाली है, भद्रकाली के बाद फिर जौनपुर की अटाला है, वो अटाला के बाद वो अदीना है जो मुर्शिदाबाद के पास वाली जो है वो। ये सारे हैं हमारे टारगेट्स तो हैं, और 2000 की लिस्ट दे रखी है हमारे ऋषि सीताराम गोयल जी ने, तो वो सारे के सारे हमारे टारगेट में हैं। वीर नाथूराम गांधी, why Jordan Peterson has started promoting Christianity? Do you think he is sold out to church? Quite possible. I cannot say, but even I was surprised, and in fact, we discussed it also in one of our Jaipur Dialogues podcast, that Jordan Peterson's conduct was quite surprising because he had patented himself as some kind of a rationalist. And Christianity is anything except rationalism. Next. Tripura Kota. Sanjay ji, Article 28 of the Constitution says that religious education cannot be given in state-run or state-funded schools. Why then are privately owned Hindu management schools also not imparting any Hindu Dharma education? Only endowment schools like Chinmaya and Swami Narayan schools are imparting Hindu education. Why is this so? Well, let me give you one more information. A lot of people make a lot of bones about Hindu education not being allowed. There is a specific clause, the Section 1 of the RTE Act, which governs all schools till class 8. It has a specific clause which exempts Vedic Pathshala. Nothing prevents any school from starting the teaching of Sanskrit from class 1 and anointing itself, and uh, while maintaining its affiliation to CBSE, or now of course it's possible to take affiliation to Bharatiya Shiksha Board. You maintain your affiliation and yet you can call yourself Vedic Pathshala. You get saved from all the hassles. You are saved from the Inspector Raj, but still people don't do it. I have said this, and in fact, in one of the groups, I said that I think the Hindus make more excuses than endeavor. It is very much possible for anyone to teach what Hindu teachings in the schools without attracting any opprobrium or any objection. Atharv, what did Veer Savarkar do after coming out of cellular jail? I mean, contributions after coming out of cellular jail. They're immense. And I would recommend to you that you read Vikram Sampat's twin volumes. After he came out of cellular jail, he was kept in a jail in India, and then he was released, I think 1923, and for 15 years he was actually, one would say, he was under confinement and observation, and his movements were restricted. He was told only to confine himself to the Ratnagiri district and not move out the Ratnagiri district. It was almost like some kind of a detention in an open jail, the boundaries of the jail being a district. And during that period, he devoted himself to social reform. In fact, The first work in social reform against untouchability was taken up by Veer Savarkar, not by Gandhi. Gandhi only followed Savarkar. And the temple entry of Dalits, what we call Dalits today, the temple entry was first organized by Veer Savarkar himself. And beyond that, he also organized large Ghar Wapsi program, due to which he came into a lot of conflict with the Muslim League leaders. And there is a very educative passage of communication between Maulana Shaukat Ali of the Khilafat fame and Veer Savarkar, in which Shaukat Ali is objecting to his converting the Mohammedans back to Hinduism, what is called Shuddhi, and Savarkar telling him, "Ki, well, you stop, then I stop. And if you say," and Shaukat Ali claimed that it is our right, says it is equally our right. So, and he got into politics only after he was completely released, and that happened only in 1938. So, actually, he was under some kind of, he was under in the cellular jail, under rigorous imprisonment, then 3 years of imprisonment, and after that, 15 years of passive detention. So, in all, he served out almost 28 years. And our Johnnies, Gandhi and Nehru and all the fragiles, they did not spend even one day in the kind of conditions that Savarkar spent at least 13 years, not one day. And Nehru apologized at the first instance. Gandhi, of course, started out with an apology right in the beginning in 1914-15. So, what these Congresses of today, led by Rahul Gandhi and company, do, they actually make a caricature of themselves and they think that people are fool or they can be made fool of. Arindam Sarkar, Pranam Guruji. How to control our emotions in UPSC mains exam, especially for history optional student. I mean, I don't understand the questions. Why should any emotions come into your answers? You are doing a job, and if you are a true Hindu and if you have studied Bhagavad Gita, which says Sukha Dukhe Samekritva Labha Labha Jaya Jayo. If that is something that you've studied, then you know that what is detachment, and then you're supposed to do a job. You do that job without getting attached to it. Next. Arindam Sarkar, Pranam Guruji, in the name of the CJI actually, and his sons, relatives and holy पंचमक्कार के नाम से इस बार भारतीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट क्या कोविड की आपदा में क्रिसमस से लेकर न्यू ईयर की पार्टियों के ऊपर सख्त संज्ञान लेगा? कतई नहीं लेगा। वो तो होली के आसपास आरंभ करेगा। नेक्स्ट। संदीप श्रृंखला जी, आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपके सहयोग के लिए, पत्रम पुष्पम के लिए। Vivek Daya, Namaste Sanjay sir. On lighter note, I have noticed something. On all ex-Muslim live streams, only Hindus seem to contribute to them as super chats and donations. And as per their rule, they don't allow Hindus to participate in all of their dreams as they want to debate with Momins. In all of their streams, actually, not dreams, as they want to debate with Momins. However, I have almost never seen a Muslim contributing. Never. And this seems like the new jizya collected by Hindus by Muslims, although They call themselves ex-Muslims now. I don't agree with you. This is not a jizya. This is education, and they are debating moments because moments are their target. They want to take moments out of Islam, and Hindus should be happy about it. It's the moments fighting moments. So what's your problem? So I think you need to take it in a broader perspective and see the real benefit that is accruing to Hindus. Next, Rajat, after Nadav Lipit saga, so happy to see Indians getting realistic about Jews. The amount of simping and one sided love was so embarrassing. Also, heard one clown say, I will die for Israel. Wish you grew moment. Actually, you should not go to extremes. Now, Lapid was one extreme. He is not particularly loved in Israel either. He is, if I can make a comparison, he is something like Rana Ayub of Israel. So you do not come to a conclusion, just as anybody outside India should not come to a conclusion by looking at Rana Ayub. We should not be coming a conclusion by looking at Nadav Lapid. Nadav Lapid is rejected by Israelis themselves. And as far as international relations are concerned, we don't have to be emotional about it. It's a hard world, and the relationships are only on the basis of interest. And right now, Israel's interest and India's interest converge. And when they converge, and we shall be with Israel, Israel shall be with us. Nothing else matters, really. Sanjay sir, it would be really enlightening if someday you take a session on how to counter Deobandis in terms of government actions as its curriculum and ideology is a humanity threat. In fact, we've done it, and I will refer you to the episodes in which we have done it. Devandis are our hard targets, and of course, the Barelvis. When we talk about Sufis, then Barelvis are our target. But Devandis are in the forefront of international terrorism. Barelvis, what they do is they do these petty things like Sartan Se Juda and Ashish Rasul type things, and uh, do this land jihad, by making, building mazars and things. These are the petty nuisances that these people commit, and they can be subdued very easily by the kind of measures that Yogi Adityanath is taking. But Devbandi has international ramifications, which are harder to tackle. Next, Archie Gupta, लवणासुर और कोहराम ने आप पर स्ट्रीम की है, उसको लेकर आपका क्या कहना है? मैंने देखी नहीं है, इसलिए मैं उस पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं कर सकता. विवेक दाहिया, संजय जी, something feels very strange to me is the reporting of India globally. I live overseas for the past 12 years, barring a few instances like somebody from France or other media channels. Nobody has yet accredited India with the achievements of India. Like talking about our GDP or that we have way less poverty left. How do you see their views about India? There is definitely, Vivekji, there is that inherent supremacism and racism that is inherent in the Western communities. However much they try to cover it up with. And that is what you see reflected in these oddities. In fact, these are not oddities, these are the norms actually. And praise coming for India actually is an oddity. That just shows that you have to deal with people on your own terms and not get sentimental about them. Funny Devalapalli, Namo Namah Sanjay ji. I watch your shows regularly and get inspired by your vast knowledge. I have studied about Shabarimala issue, which the Supreme Court didn't discuss. How can we make it known to the public? Well, the Shabarimala judgment, especially when the review was done and it was uh, posed to a nine-judge bench, at that time it was discussed in some detail. And when the occasion arrives, we will discuss it again. हर हर महादेव जी कह रहे हैं, सर क्या लगता है हमारे गुरुकुल्स को प्रमोट करना चाहिए? मैं बच्चों को कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में पढ़ाने की जगह गुरुकुल में पढ़ाना चाहिए। आपके क्या विचार हैं? बिल्कुल गुरुकुलों को प्रमोट करना चाहिए, लेकिन गुरुकुलों को आधुनिक बनाकर प्रमोट करना चाहिए। गुरु जो परंपरावाद में हमें नहीं फँसना चाहिए। क्योंकि अभी मैं देख रहा हूँ कि इस परम जब गुरुकुल की बात होती है तो लोग उसको बिल्कुल 200 वर्ष पीछे ले जाना चाहते हैं। वो फिर संभव नहीं है, फिर लोगों में उसके प्रति कोई आकर्षण नहीं रहता है। और लोगों में जब तक आकर्षण नहीं रहेगा उसके प्रति, तब तक वह सफल नहीं होगा। तो इसलिए मैं मॉडल देता हूँ कई बार और मैं कहता हूँ कि आपको यदि गुरुकुल चलाना है तो जो अगस्त्य गुरुकुलम का जो मॉडल है, आपको उसके अनुसार चलाना चाहिए। अगस्त्य गुरुकुलम को आप जाकर गूगल पर सर्च कर सकते हैं और आप देख सकते हैं कि किस प्रकार से उस मेथोडोलॉजी से पढ़े जो बच्चे हैं, वो हर स्तर पर compete कर रहे हैं और आईवी लीग जैसे जो कॉलेजेस हैं, यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, उनमें भी वो टॉप 5 में, टॉप 10 में आ रहे हैं और एक वेल राउंडेड और बड़े ही एक होलसम व्यक्तित्व के रूप में उभर रहे हैं। नेक्स्ट, कल्याण राम गंती, if Pakistan defaults, what will happen? Will it dismember or somehow survive? What will happen to our peacefuls who regard Pakistan as their moral, spiritual, and ideological master? See, if Pakistan defaults, what will happen to Pakistan is something that will happen to any country that defaults. And that is that in the international economic system, it stops getting any kind of financial help or any kind of, it cannot raise any kind of financial capital, and it may also face sanctions, commercial sanctions, banking sanctions, and so many other disabilities may occur. Its ratings, its financial ratings, what you have these Moody's and Fitch and all that, they will go down so badly that nobody will invest in those countries. They will become basket cases, they'll become inflation ridden, their industry will collapse, their exports will collapse, everything about their economy will collapse, and their populations will go back to the stone age, as happened to certain countries, like in times like it's happening to Venezuela, it happened to Zimbabwe. These countries, it did happen, but they did not dismember. Yeah, remember, so becoming a defaulter financially does not necessarily lead to dismemberment. Combination of political and economic situations like is happening in Pakistan can lead to it, because Pakistan is not only economically very fragile, it is also socially and politically becoming very fragile. because of its own investment in radicalism. May, I don't understand why Brahmins are targeted for untouchability. The entire society, including OBCs, practiced it with Dalits. Just mentioning what was already happening and documenting it doesn't mean the Hindu text sanctified it. Shouldn't blaming Brahmins for untouchability and all else be made a crime by law? Forget it, making it a crime by law. First of all, we at least get these facts out in the open and make these facts recognized. And talking about untouchability, the worst form of untouchability, let me tell you this, and there is a paper also on this that was done in Gujarat, that too by some leftist authors. It shows that the worst form of untouchability is practiced among the Dalits themselves. Have you heard about it? I'm sure you haven't. Spartan Bhagwa. Is it possible to rule India from the shadows, like the deep state in the USA? Well, it certainly is, because India was ruled from the shadows for a good 70 years, or at least 65 years. You've seen that. Next. इन्फोमार्ट HAM पत्रम पुष्पम संजय जी, आपका हेल्थ का ख्याल रखिए. Which craft in India came from Christianity to be called Andhavishwas? On the eve of Christmas, we need more of church in India. Don't quite understand why we need more of church in India. I think we need more discussion about church in India. That's what we probably want to say, and I agree with it. Next. Abhilash YG, how to create awareness about Islamic Jihad? Very simple. Follow the Jaipur dialogues. Sachin Mahindra Kar. When will Alfred the Defru movement in Indian society? After that, only Zionism doctrine sharply risen. Well, there's so many Alfred Defru moments have occurred in India. What about the Ram Temple? I think that is the perfect Alfred Defru movement when the car sevaks were butchered by Mulayam Singh. I think that should be the Alfred Defru moment. And it is from that point that the Hindu consciousness has started rising. And after internet, it is reaching a crescendo. हर हर महादेव सर, क्या घर वापसी मूवमेंट स्पीडली चल रहा है? हाँ, स्पीडली तो हम अब कैसे स्पीड मेजर करें, नहीं कह सकते. आज जिस गति से घर वापसी मूवमेंट चल रहा है, जस्ट अ मिनट, प्लीज गिव मी अ मिनट, माय glasses are fogging up, so I just have to. हाँ, यस, घर वापसी मूवमेंट चल रहा है. क्या उससे मुस्लिम मुक्त भारत का सपना पूरा हो पाएगा? देखिए, जिस गति से चल रहा है वो मैं उसको इसलिए अच्छा मानता हूँ, क्योंकि ये जो गति एक बार पकड़ लेती है, वो गति बढ़ती ही जाती है. इसलिए अभी जो गति है, वो ठीक-ठाक है और उसके बढ़ने की पूरी आशा है और पूरी अपेक्षा है। Suman Ray, TTP control over Pakistan. Will it be a national threat to India? Yes, it will be, but it will not be a greater national threat than the Punjabi army of Pakistan, because that TTP will not be able to control the whole of Pakistan. What TTP will achieve is probably a dismemberment of Pakistan. And if that dismemberment does occur, it will probably occur along certain fault lines that will be probably to the benefit of India. Bharat Dwaja, sir, can your supporters meet you in Australia? Certainly, they can, and we will probably organize something. You can write to the WhatsApp number which is flashing below. Jason Uresi, thank you. Vivek Daya, thank you. Vivek ji, thank you. श्वेता बकुलचंद, मेरे एक जानकार जो इंडिया में मुझसे स्पीक्स डेली करते हैं ने बताया कि मुशर्रफ वाजपेयी डॉक्टरों के हिसाब से वाजपेयी कश्मीर देने वाले थे और मोदी भी पीओके लेने के नाम पर चुनावी चलावा करते हैं, जैसे से यूसीसी और सीएए के नाम पर कर रहे हैं। आपकी राय? पीओके लेने के नाम पर मुझे तो अभी तक जो पीओके लेने की जो बात है, वो कोई भी जो गंभीर चिंतक है अंतर्राष्ट्रीय विषयों का, वह इसको न तो मानता है न इसके ऊपर एक मत है, अपितु मत यह अधिक है जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मामलों के चिंतक है, उनका यह है कि 40 लाख मुसलमान और ऐड करने से कुछ अधिक आपको हासिल नहीं होने वाला है। तो ये जो भी मामला है पीओके लेने का, वो ठीक है, वो 1994 का एक रेजोल्यूशन है, उसके आधार पर चलता है। ये मोदी ने नहीं बनाया। 1994 का जो पार्लियामेंट का रेजोल्यूशन है, वो नरसिम्हा राव सरकार के समय पर हुआ था और पूरी संसद और पूरा भारत देश जो है उस संकल्प से बंधा हुआ है। तो ये कहना कि ये मोदी इसकी बातें करते हैं या करते हैं, तो मोदी तो बात उसकी उनको करना जो है वो तो पूरी तरह से उचित है, पूरी तरह से एक समीचीन है, क्योंकि वो पार्लियामेंट का रेजोल्यूशन है और उसकी बात यदि डिफेंस मिनिस्टर भी कर देते हैं तो कोई अन्यथा नहीं करते। यदि कोई मिलिट्री का जो व्यक्ति है वो भी कर देता है तो वो कोई अन्यथा नहीं करता। अब वस्तुतः उसको प्रक्रिया में लाया जाएगा या नहीं, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये समय उसके लिए उपयुक्त भी है। Ajay, can we trust this Adam Seeker who comes to your channel? He is a Christian and heard he does a lot of anti-Hindu propaganda. In fact, this question was asked to him when he was on the channel, and he admitted that he used to do it, but now he has evolved. And it is for all of you to actually go and fact check this. And in this question also, what you're saying is only on the basis of hearsay. Why don't you fact check this whole thing? मैनाक भट्टाचार्य, आप क्या कट द क्लटर देखते हैं? कभी कभी देखता हूँ। उत्सव शर्मा, ask SD, what are the tangible steps one can take to get the loudspeakers removed from mosques in the locality? You can first write to the police, and then you can approach the courts, because these instructions of the Supreme Court are very clear. And if you do not get relief from the lower courts, then you can go to the high court. Next. Dr. Kaushik Chaudhary, Swami Narayan Sampradaya, says monk died less than 200 years ago, a supreme god of Srishti, and then given 7 layers of different kind of consciousness. At the eighth layer is the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. They are saints themselves, Vishnu and Shiva, on daily basis as slaves, and their bodies of the Swami Narayan Bhagwan. Is it any way, according to Sanatan Dharma, to stop them using Hindu God's name? How to stop them doing this? Well, I'm not very much aware of this. But this whole thing has happened with the followers of certain sects in India over thousands and thousands of years. Remember the daily abuses that used to fly between the Shaivites and the Vaishnavites in the south? So it is something like this. Ultimately, as I said, that I am not really bothered about the lowest common multiple. I am more bothered about the highest common factor. What are those highest common factors? As I said, that it is dharma, karma, sansara, and moksha. As long as, particularly the sansara part, what is sansara? Sansarthi is sansara. Once you recognize and you admit and you act according to the eternity of time, and you treat time as infinite and time as ever moving, the rest of all your differences actually mean very little. Anupam Dev. Sanjay ji, our current constitution, authored by people, not voted by people of the country, does not protect critical interests of the majority community, as it obvious from acts like the places of worship, Waqf, and so glaringly the management of temples is not with us. If anything, the constitution, the same of its amendments, hurt majority community. Majority community's interest. So is it time for Constitution 2.0? Well, I have myself, in fact, I am probably first one to have talked about the Republic 2.0, and the Republic 2.0 means the Constitution 2.0. But that's not only for this reason. The main reason in that is to remove the anomaly of the judicial supremacy that has become the norm these days. The judiciary was never envisioned to be the supreme organ of the state, which it has ascribed itself to, rather, which position it has arrogated to itself. So that is the main reason. In fact, last year's Jaipur Dialogue Annual Summit, the topic was probably Republic 2.0. The theme. Abhijit, Pranam SDG, have you heard about Miracles of Quran by Harun Yahya? It talks about how Quran is scientific. For example, verses 20.47, 32.5, 70.4, and 23.12 talks about relativity of time way before Einstein proposed the theory. These people are stupid and they try and fancify themselves. Relativity. They prove relativity. Have the equations of relativity. If anything, relativity is talked about is only in the Indian scriptures in terms of Maya when they talk about. And they have uh, given it a very wide and clear import, even mathematical treatment. What have these guys done? Nothing. On the one hand, they talk about the earth being flat and the sun setting in a pond, and then they say that miracles of Quran. Kuch bhi. Okay, next. Will Trishal Khurana, so if Pakistan defaults, what are the chances of Taliban take over Pakistan, especially after their Islamabad attack? And do India need to worry about it having Taliban in the neighborhood? Well, I would think that Taliban in the neighborhood is probably a better proposition because Taliban in the neighborhood will be a pariah internationally. So India would be able to deal with them far better because the problem for them is not the military problem, but the kind of diplomatic heft that they enjoy and the diplomatic support they enjoy, especially from the United States, and that too under cover. So Taliban would be much more easily dealt with, and of course, if Taliban comes in, and you can also be sure that Pakistan would be dismembered into three or four parts. So that will make things easier for India. And basically, Taliban's are what? They're a Kora Khattak product. And they are Pashtuns. So they won't be accepted by the larger Pakistani society either. Next. सर क्या पाकिस्तान बांग्लादेश में घर वापसी मूवमेंट स्टार्ट किया जा सकता है? नहीं, ऑनलाइन मीडिया के थ्रू इसी की शुरुआत हुई है, वो हम किसी को वापस ला पाए हैं। अभी पाकिस्तान बांग्लादेश का प्रश्न नहीं उठता, पहले भारत में कर लें, भारत में सफल हो जाए, उसके बाद कभी सोचिएगा। अभी अभी वहाँ पर स्थितियाँ इस प्रकार की नहीं है, जो कोई करेगा वो मारा जाएगा। May, after 1857 revolt, British cleverly schemed to let loose the castes and tribes they themselves labeled under Criminal Tribes Act. After Brahmins, upper caste, and Hindus to pin them down. Great strategy to instill victimhood in criminal castes and set them after your enemies, them to bark forever. Yes, that is a well known thing, and then we have discussed it also. The 1861 census and particularly the 1861 and 1901 census. Next. में ब्राह्मण समाज पर आए दिन अम्बेडकरवादी और लेफ्टिस्ट जाति सूचक शब्दों का प्रयोग करके टारगेट करते हैं और झूठा अट्रॉसिटी लिटरेचर कोट करते हैं। क्या इसके विरुद्ध लॉ नहीं बनना चाहिए? इसके विरुद्ध आपका सामान्य लॉ है ना, आप जा सकते हैं, डेफेमेशन में जा सकते हैं, आप 295A में जा सकते हैं, और जहाँ भी ब्राह्मण दिखते हैं इनको, जैसे क्रिकेट जुडिशरी वगैरह में, वहाँ जातिवाद का रोना रोते हैं झूठा। इनको कौन सुनता है, कौन सोचता है? ये आप जो हैं, यदि आप सोच रहे हैं दिलीप मंडल जैसे लोगों को कोई गंभीरता से लेता है, इनके खुद के लोग नहीं लेते। दिलीप मंडल को किसी चुनाव में खड़ा करके दिखवा लीजिए इनको कितने वोट मिलते हैं, 1000 नहीं क्रॉस होगा। एक पार्लियामेंट का जहाँ पर 17 लाख 18 लाख 20 लाख वोट होते हैं, वहाँ इनको 1000 वोट नहीं मिलते इन लोगों को। लेकिन हम कई बार इनको महान बना देते हैं, इनको अधिक भाव देके। थोड़ा इनको इग्नोर करना हमें सीखना पड़ेगा। नेक्स्ट. Shantanu Kulkarni, I studied in CBC school, Sri Shankara Vidyalay. We studied both life of Adi Shankara and CBSE's standard education. This is the way to teach Hindu culture as well as prepare for future jobs. This is what I'm saying. That Hindus are more prone to making excuses than making use of the provisions that are already there. These days, I hear, there's a fantastic narrative being floated that there is a certain Article 30A in the Constitution that forbids Hindus from imparting Hindu education. And BJP is going to repeal this article. The only difficulty in this is, of course, it would be very welcome if they did that, but the only problem is that there is no Article 30A in the Constitution. Instead, provisions are there which enable you to actually take your narrative forward. As I mentioned, Section 1 of the RTE Act, it exempts three kind of institutions. minority institutions, madrasas, and Vedic pathshalas. Both minority institutions and madrasas are making full use of it. Are Hindus making use of it? Why not? Vivek Daya, Sanjay sir, please invite Akshay Kapoor ji again for military and defense discussion. His knowledge about geopolitics and defense history is unmatchable. Yes, it is. The problem of time zones and the problem that he is busy, especially in the times of my lives. And right now, of course, we are not able to do the 10 p.m. live. That those are the limiting factors. Prophet Muhabbat. How come only neighboring countries of India are problem in the east, but none in the west? US, Canada, Mexico. Why not USA Todo Yatra? I didn't quite understand the question. Prophet Saab. Next. रंगीला रसूल, आज तुफैल जी के चैनल पर यति महाराज का वीडियो देखा, ऐसा लगा आज ही 100 मलेच्छों को हूर गति दे दूं। उनकी वाणी में ऐसी बात है, कृपया उन्हें मुख्य धारा में लाने का प्रयास करें जी। नेक्स्ट। सचिन महेंद्रकर, दीक्षित जी पत्रम पुष्पम, पिछले 3 दिन से हमारे परिसर दायरी पुणे में कीर्तन का आयोजन है। क्या यह तरीका हो सकता है पश्चिमी त्योहारों का प्रभाव कम करने में? बिल्कुल हो सकता है, निश्चित रूप से हो सकता है। वैसे त्योहारों का प्रभाव तो है क्या, मैं इस समय ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हूँ, आज यहाँ क्रिसमस है और यहाँ पर तो मुझे कोई किसी भी प्रकार का उल्लास ही नहीं दिख रहा है। हम गए थे आज, जो मेलबर्न की सेंट्रल बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट है उसमें, तो वहाँ आपको ऑस्ट्रेलियन दिखाई नहीं पड़ रहे। तो वहाँ जो भी घूमने वाले हैं वो या तो ईस्ट एशियंस हैं या इंडियंस हैं। कोई 8-10% आपको ऑस्ट्रेलियंस दिखाई पड़ जाए तो दिखाई पड़ जाए, और जितनी रोशनी पूरे सेंट्रल बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट में है उतनी तो हमारे एक मोहल्ले में हो जाती है दिवाली के टाइम पे। एक पटाखा नहीं सुनाई पड़ा मुझको। तो ये जो प्रभाव है ये स्वयं इनका कम हो रहा है। जैसे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी 38% जो है लोग वो अपने आप को अब नो रिलीजन कहते हैं। तो यहाँ जहाँ जहाँ नो रिलीजन है वहाँ वहाँ हिंदुत्व का प्रभाव बढ़ाने का प्रयास होना चाहिए, मुझे ऐसा लगता है। मेहुल शाह, with so much hatred for Hindus, India driving unity in an otherwise dysfunctional Pakistan, is its dismemberment realistic? Clearly, Pak army lacks a spine. Dismemberment will happen due to their own weight and due to their own society and their economy and their politics. These fault lines are driving them. We don't have to do anything actually, and we shouldn't do that, because if we do anything, that will give them an excuse to unite. We should not give them that glue. रिकी सर, एक प्रश्न है केवल, कभी ना कभी तो HC या SC में काशी और मथुरा मामले में बात प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट पर आएगी ही, तब क्या करेगी सरकार, क्या कड़ा कदम उठा पाएगी? देखिए, प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट का की जो जिसको हम कहते हैं धार जो है वो पहले ही कुंद हो चुकी है, और वो कार्य जो है वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ही कर दिया था, और बाद में सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश के अनुपालन में जो डॉक्टर के विश्वेश डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज वाराणसी ने जो निर्णय दिया, उसको यदि आप पढ़ेंगे तो आप पाएंगे कि जो सेक्शन 4 है इस एक्ट का, प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट का, उससे हिंदुओं को कोई समस्या नहीं होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि उसमें ये लिखा है कि भाई रिलीजियस कैरेक्टर, उस आदेश में कि रिलीजियस कैरेक्टर जो है वो एविडेंस से ही 1947 को 15 अगस्त को जो रिलीजियस कैरेक्टर किसी स्थान का एस्टैब्लिश करना है, वो एविडेंस के माध्यम से ही किया जा सकता है। तो एविडेंस तो हमारे पास है, और जो सेटल्ड लॉ है उसके अनुसार यदि एक स्थान पर मंदिर बन गया, तो बिना विधिवत विसर्जन हुए वहां पर मूर्ति खंडित भी कर दी गई, मंदिर तोड़ भी दिया गया, तो भी वह स्थान जो है देवता का ही रहेगा। ये सेटल्ड लॉ है। इसलिए हमें सेक्शन 4 से कोई विशेष परेशानी नहीं, सेक्शन 3 से तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं। अब प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट जो है वो एक एक्चुअली एक न्यूसेंस बनकर रह गया है, जिसमें जो है उसको डिले करने के लिए उपयोग में लाया जाता है। Vasu, Dr. Faiz Ahmad Faizi seems to have disappeared. Hope he is safe and fallen a victim of the Ashraf. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। अब तो बल्कि वो और अच्छी स्थिति में है। वो क्या है कि जो पूरा पसमानदा मूवमेंट है वो ब्रेक हो गया है, और पहले ही इनके जो अली अनवर साहब थे, ये और एक पसमानदा महाज अलग से लखनऊ में बन गई थी। अब जो वो लखनऊ वाली पसमानदा महाज है वो भी दो में टूट गई है। तो अब जैसे ही यहाँ भारत में ये समस्या है कि जैसे ही किसी संगठन को आप महत्व देना आरंभ करते हैं, जैसे जयपुर डायलॉग्स ने इनको काफ़ी महत्व दिया, तो इनमें स्वयं में दो फाड़ होना आरंभ हो जाते हैं। तो इस दो फाड़ के कारण ही मुझे ये लग रहा है कि इनकी जो एक्टिविटीज़ हैं वो बहुत ही कम हो गई हैं। Xander, born gamer, sir, when Masood Azhar was released by Atalji, I request a special episode to explain the way the opposition pressurized government and gave morale boost to the terror mentally, especially by Congress. The opposition always does so. The opposition did it in Modi's time also. Why did Atalji succumb? I fault Atalji for this. He didn't have to do this. He should have been ruthless. Why did he allow the the aircraft to leave Amritsar? That would have been far easier, and India would have saved face if they had not allowed that. Ramta Yogi, Sanjay ji, if you get a chance, visit New Zealand, South Island, Milford Sound for quick vacation. Middle of nowhere, they have roads while India doesn't. Well, India doesn't have roads. I think Ramta Yogi ji, you seem to be still traveling in a time machine many decades back. I can appreciate that middle of nowhere New Zealand may have roads, but to add while India doesn't, I think it doesn't look very nice here. Abid Haider. Hello Sanjay sir, any plans to visit Sydney? Well, nothing as yet. MK Sanjay ji, to the best of my knowledge, the Sanskrit translation of Talibani is Dixit. Please correct me if I am wrong. No. Talibani, Talib is a student. So a student is not Dikshit, the student is a Chhatra. Then Taliban is plural of Talib. Chetan Parmar. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat Mata. Thank you for your JD. Dhanyavad Chetan ji. Prashant Tiwari. I read the books of Sanjay sir, Krishna Gopeshwar and Krishna Yogeshwar, and both were intriguing. Please suggest few more books on Sri Krishna. Well, wait for my third one in the trilogy. Aravinda this side. Recently, the Travancore Devaswam Board's notification of appointment of Malaya Brahmins as a temple priest didn't go well with the Kerala High HC, citing Article 17 untouchability. How to counter the same when Article 26 and 27 with respect to religious freedom, etc., is getting clashed? How to ensure that the SC doesn't meddle only when it comes to temple affairs and keeps firm on mosque and church issues? Well, I think we already have very well rounded uh, movements going on in the south. You've got T.R. Ramesh ji in Tamil Nadu. We got people in Kerala. We've got Sridhar ji. We've got Ramesh Shinde ji. A number of people who are active in this. And I think you can get in touch with them. Sahil Sharma, what can we do to educate fellow Hindus about the subtle Ghazwa Hind activities and ambitions of some Muslims and drive Hindus to be politically active? Well, all you need to do is to uh, s- stay in touch with the Jaipur Dialogues. If you're watching our episodes, then all these issues are getting dealt with all the time. Navan Panchal, why communists in India are so anti American? Old habits die hard. Right now, they should be in love with the Americans because Americans are the, uh, I should say, the biggest vehicle of communism in the Marxism in the world. Varun sir, what can you please make a? I want. Can you please make a video to clear this point? Dr. Zakir says Muhammad also find in my means Hindu religion books. How we clear this point or make difference from that religion? Question I cannot understand. Tushar Sood, please make an episode to guide new parents on how can we transfer our sanskar to our kids. Focus on metro parents. How can kids be connected to our roots? Okay, good idea. We will pursue this. Spartan Bhagwa, how to convince our families and friends that Kathavachaks, self gurus, and YouTube acharyas are fake. Not all. Not all, not all, not all. We can't pass this kind of an omnibus judgment. Naveen Awasthi, please do another session on China and India tensions and please bring expert China watchers like Adi Achins from Dev Talks. I bring his guru, Dr. General Shankar. When the guru is here, I think that is much more important. Nitish, next. Next. नीतीश सर वरदान कैसे मिलता है? क्या तपस्या करते ही उसके लिए क्या भगवान प्रसन्न होते हैं? देखिए, तपस्या आप स्वयं करते हैं और आप स्वयं ही स्वयं को वरदान देते हैं। तपस्या का फल ही वरदान है। नेक्स्ट। Ramata Yogi, Sanjay ji, that wasn't my intent. It's a beautiful place in general. It was just an observation. Thank you, Ramata Yogi ji. Thank you very much. Next, Hannibal. It is obvious that the undesirables are poking India by supplying weapons, supporting Pakistani narratives in international forums. Has the time come to expand NCC or make military training compulsory for Indians after college? Well, I don't think so because we still have a very large offering, very large voluntary offering. I think almost 10 times what the vacancies are. So that would not be necessary. I think with that, we come to the end of the session. Thank you all for being patient. And please share this video, like it, and also please support us with Patram Pushpam. Santosh Reddy ji has also asked a question. That question is, Sanjay ji, They're exclusive Christian and Islamic nations, not a single Hindu Sanatan Dharma nation. We are all looking forward to see Hindustan will be an Hindu nation. Jai Modi ji, Amit Shah ji, Yogi ji, some hope. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Santosh Reddy ji, we completely echo your sentiments, and that's what we are working for. And thank you for your help. Mohit Shah said Hindu society should do the crowdfunding for Ramayana Museum and Mahabharata Museum. Most Hindus don't know these are our history, not mythology. By all means, I am with you, Mohit ji. With that, we conclude this session. Please support us by going to these links in the description. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.